V'shem Kol Yisrael. Rav Yaakov Bluegrand, as we've mentioned in the previous story, had almost passed away. Doctors had already considered him dead. And as we mentioned before, Chaim Kanievsky would not let them pull the plug. And amazingly, miraculously, he returned to this world. And there, the first thing that Rav Yaakov said is he turned to his brother, who was still shocked that he was talking to his brother, and said, "Please get me a phone. I need to call Rav Nissim Yagen of Yerushalayim." His brother said, "Who's that?" And he said, "I don't know, but look him up in the white pages. We got to make a call." So he takes the phone. He calls Rav Nissim Yagen in Yerushalayim. And Rav Nissim Yagen receives the following message from Rav Yaakov. There's an old Sephardi man with a white beard and a very young face. And he told me that I have a message that I need to deliver you. Rav Yagen was in shock. He said, "If you spoke to that Sephardi man, then you must be dead, because he's no longer in this world." And he said, "Correct. I was dead. I went to the next world, and I got a message. So please, let's meet." Rav Yagen closed the phone and rushed to the hospital, where he received a message from Rav Yaakov that there were certain prayers, certain spiritual rectifications that needed to be said in honor of this Sephardi man. And meanwhile, you got to tell us, what is the deal? Who is this Sephardi man, and what does he have to do with you? So Yagen recounted the most amazing story. A few years earlier, Rav Yagen had ran a kollel. He had been running a kollel. He still ran a kollel with Rav Atias in Yerushalayim. And Rav Yagen was in charge of the money, of raising the funds. And every month it was a struggle. He would go to America often and try to raise money for this large kollel in Yerushalayim. Tons of people who were reliant upon him so they can continue learning Torah. And one particular time, his uncle came up to Rav Nissim and said, "Listen, I want to give you a loan of $10,000, but on one condition. You got to pay it back to me as soon as I ask for it back." And he took the loan because he really needed the money. And on one particular month, Rav Yagen, he went to America and he fell short. He did not have the money to pay the funds. And each month on Rosh Chodesh, he would pay his kollel members and their wives. And it was Rosh Chodesh, and the Rav Atias comes in and says, "Do we have the money?" And he says, "No, I don't have the money." And a woman came in and said, "I need money to pay for Shabbos. Can you please give me the stipend?" And Rav Nissim Yagen said, "I'm so sorry, I just don't have the money." He ran outside. Maybe someone could help him. There was no one there. And he went home for Shabbos. And it was a very hard, challenging Shabbos to keep good spirits, to be happy despite all the challenges. And Sunday morning, he came back to the office. And guess what? His uncle was there. And he wanted the $10,000 right then, just like he had promised. And he didn't have the money, of course. So Rav Yagen locked himself in his office to tell the secretary, "Nobody's allowed in here. I need to do something." And he turned to the HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He turned to God. He said, "Hashem, you know I only do this for you. This kollel is yours. I don't have the money. I'm stuck. Please, please help me." And he started crying like a baby, like the Jewish people who cried in this week's Parsha, screaming out to Hashem. And right at that moment, somehow the door was opened. He didn't know how. And a Sephardi looking man with a white beard, but a very young looking beard, comes in and has wads and wads of money, tons and tons of money. And he just literally puts the bag of cash on the table. And he says, "Who are you and where are you coming from?" And he says, "That doesn't concern you. Just take the money. Perhaps another day I'll be able to fill you in on how he found that money and found his way to Rav Yagen." But for this story, he walked out of the room and Rav Yagen took the money, paid his uncle, and was able to pay his monthly funds that month. Amazing. And that was why this Sephardi man felt like he could come back from the next world and ask Rav Nissim Yagen to do some spiritual rectifications. An amazingly true story, once again from Visions of Greatness, teaching us about not only the power of the next world, but the power of Mesiras Nefesh. That when a person really acts for the sake of God, when a person trusts in the Kadosh Baruch Hu and relies completely independently on God, often miracles will happen. May you have a miraculous day.